There we go, very quickly you get a nice base of a glowing light effect. Okay, so the plasma. As you can see, I haven't glued the gun onto the model. They've got those little knobbly bits at the top that allow you to push fit. So for the plasma, I've already dry brushed with the same principles that we did earlier, with the gun metal across the metal and some anthracite across the black. Nothing too in depth for the gun. And we're going to be painting the coils now in pure white. It takes a few coats to do this, so you paint the coils, the little holes at the front of the gun. I think there's like 3 or 4 little divots, sort of vent holes, and then there's the coils at the bottom of the gun as well. So it takes a few coats of this just to cover the white. Take your time. If you go over any of the black areas, just go back over them with black, or any the colour that you've painted the housing. If you've painted it red, don't highlight this too much. If you've painted it red or yellow or any colour, because we're going to be adding the plasma effect. So any time you've spent doing fancy highlighting is going to get blown out by the plasma glow we're going to be doing. So just paint your plasma gun with base colours at first, and then come to doing your glow effect. So you just work around the model, painting in the coils white. Okay, once that's done, grab your airbrush, your white ink, good old Vallejo white ink, and now we're going to be, it's a bit clever what we're doing here. We're not mindlessly airbrushing now, so focusing into the middle of those areas, begin spraying so that you create a natural overspray to the surrounding areas of your pure white, almost like little halos around them. You'll notice now that at the bottom of the coils, I'm pointing the airbrush downwards so that it hits the pure white of the bottom of the coils, but oversprays to the surrounding area so that your coils get brighter and get some natural overspray with a little bit more focus towards that bottom center point. So that's where your brightest part of the blue plasma is going to be. So just take your time. If you get it wrong, base coat the model again in black and you can start again. You're not putting on thick amounts of paint here to ruin detail. A few goes you may get it wrong, but it doesn't take long to perfect this process. So you're just working across the outside edges, so you'll get a natural overspray which creates you, even at this point, you get a natural glowing effect of the white. Yeah, take your time. As you saw at the beginning, I'm not using an expensive airbrush. This airbrush costs £30 from Amazon and does the job perfectly. The next stage, once that white ink has dried, just grab your, as we said, the Aethermatic blue from GW and carefully apply this across the whole of the gun, covering all of your white and the overspray areas. Take your time, don't let it pull, don't spray too much in one go. You can see now, easily starting to get a blue glowing effect. Right, this next stage is optional, but it does help with the effect to get its full effectiveness. Is some contrast Tallasar blue, and I'm just going to apply this around the outside edges of the light blue, so it's almost where the gradient starts to fade out. I add little spots of this just to make it show that that blue glow is getting darker the further it goes out, or colder. The glowing effects are there to show the hot points and the cold points. Hottest points are the brightest, coldest points are the darkest. So this is almost your coldest points of the glowing effect with your Tallasar blue. As I said, this is an option. If you use, there is a speed paint called Plasma Coil. You can get a similar effect using that through the airbrush. It's a little bit more blue if you haven't got Aethermatic blue, but I'd just suggest get yourself a type of Aethermatic blue. It lasts forever and gives a really good quick effect for your plasma. Right, next up we're using our magical mix. So that's a pot of a mix of white ink, water and contrast medium. So it's a drop of white ink, 2 drops of water and a drop of contrast medium, and I just made a massive pot of it into the contrast medium pot. What this is basically a nice, almost white contrast paint that capillaries itself into all of the little gaps. It's so easy to use. So you saw there, I just painted in the bottom edges of the coil there. I'm painting in the leftmost edge, so the edge towards the plasma coil itself. I actually switched brushes here. I was using a too big a brush. Use a 00 now, and I'm now just going to add this white ink to the bottom edge of the plasma coil. So this first coat, I add it across the whole bottom edge of the plasma coil, going up a couple of millimeters, and then the next coat I apply this just in that bottom middle section where I want it to be the brightest, and add just a little couple of lines of it outside of the coil, just shows like the real glowing pulse effect. But yeah, this little white ink mix you make, depending on how much white ink is how many layers you need. So you can add a bit more white ink to get a more purer colour, but I added the 1-2-1 mix. Gives a nice sort of finish where you might need a couple of coats, but you can get a nice gradual increase of brightness with your white. It's a handy pot of paint to have created. Failing that, you can just use white ink with contrast medium and just mix it as you go, but having the pot of it just saves you a bunch of time. And the final stage, once your white ink is dry, is just some dark blue. I'm using Oxford blue, that's like a Night Lord's blue or a Kantor blue. We're just going to add some darker points to the coils, so only on the very top edges of your coil. Just dry brush over some of this dark blue, so that's your coldest points. Optional extra. It's an optional part, this bit, but it just makes your brightest points pop a little bit more, and then that'll be your plasma done.